You are now live on the show with DJ Just Jay. Did you want to speak on this particular topic?
So what I wanted to say about the Aretha, what the pastor said at the eulogy,
Yes.
I know it was the wrong time, and it was about Aretha, but I have to speak as an old black man. I'm an old black man. I'm almost 60 years old and stuff. And so coming from an old black man, guys, seriously, we're just like almost pulling our hair out because of the way it is today. You know, we wish young people would have learned from our mistakes and not make the mistakes they do today. But you know, that's then. This is now. And so, just bottom line, just wish we would stop killing each other, man. Because seriously, as an old black man, I worry about my own people killing me more than anybody else. Mm-hmm. But it's just the way it is, you know.
Right. Well, let me ask.
Anyway,
that's
just no, man.
Let me ask you this, because you pointed out something that I thought was important, which was the argument that I was trying to squelch based on the things that I said. What I want to know from you is, you said it was the wrong time. Am I mistaken? Am I quoting you correctly?
Yeah, he at Aretha's funeral. You know, it's about Aretha. You know.
Right, and this is somebody that's known Aretha for her whole life, and keep in mind, she was like 72 or 74. She was pretty up there. Somebody that's known her entire life, very close to the family. On top of that, she was extremely famous, so I think that this person probably should have the right to say whatever it is that they want to say about her life, especially somebody that's buried her family members. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. To be honest, sir,
Who better?
I'm glad.
Who better qualify?
I'm sorry.
Who better qualified than him? That's kind of why I was given a lot of the other things that I was saying. Like, who would be more qualified to say whatever it is that they want to say and speak from the heart, other than that gentleman?
To be honest, there's no person better qualified than him. Seriously, I mean, yeah, it's better he did it than Jesse Jackson, Bill Clinton, or anybody. Mm-hmm. So nobody more better qualified than him. And the thing is, though, see, what I just want to say, and I'm not even as old as those guys, but you know, I'm getting up there. Thing is, man, it's really frustrating anymore. It's always on your mind. It's like what one guy said the other day: being black. It's mentally draining, you know?
Yeah.
And I could go into a lot of it, but I'm not, you know, because seriously, I just, you know, wish we would actually learn. I don't give a damn about what the white men do or Hispanics or anybody else. Whatever they do, they do. I'm just talking about me and you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And not hating on anybody or anything like that, but it shouldn't. See, Dr. King got assassinated 50 years ago, and I was a little kid when that happened. Anyway, since then till now, we've been saying stick together. It shouldn't take a race of people 50 years to understand 3 words. Mm-hmm. No, 2 words, stick together.
Mm-hmm. Understand.
And so anyway, sir, I'm not going to go on and on. It's just the times we live in right now just have us really mentally frustrated. And thank you for taking the time out to let me talk. And hopefully when I get a little change, I'm going to try to get a little change to you.
Oh,
you know how it is. I ain't got much.
And look, and I'll tell you this. First and foremost, I'll say thank you for the call, first of all. But this platform was originally designed for us to be able to communicate with each other like this, as in an open platform. Now, I've had to actually change it up, and I don't really do the panels anymore or anything like that for a bunch of different reasons. You know, maybe we'll go into detail about that some other time. But I've always allowed this platform when people wanted to speak. I've never denied anybody their opportunity to speak their mind, what they think. I've definitely had to try to cut down on the time, but a time like this, I'm pretty much here for you guys. That's why I said I was able to start a little bit earlier than I normally would. Like I said, I do have a second. As long as I can get 2 of these stories done today, which I think we're doing perfect on time. Like I said, I was definitely kind of curious as to what other people thought, which is why I thought, you know what, that is a cool idea if other people want to speak on it and call in. And I did have one other person that wanted to call in, but like I said, they haven't reached back. They haven't called in. I haven't heard from them. We were almost in the middle of the second song, and I still hadn't heard from them yet. But nonetheless, my whole thing is just from an observational standpoint. When you know facts and when you know history, and this is why I think that sometimes history is important, is to know where we went wrong. And I think where we went wrong is when we chose Title 4-D, which was the welfare program, over families and trusting each other. We started trusting
No. Here's what happened. Now, okay. All right, sir, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Can I ask you how old are you?
I'm 35.
You're 35. Okay, and the reason I asked, okay, so that was 35. That's 33 years ago. 35. 1984. 1983.
83. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Back then, it wasn't the welfare program that was tearing us apart. You know what was tearing us apart?
I'll be more than happy to hear you.
Sir, I was back there. How I know? It was the gang thing. From somewhere along the line, from the middle to late 60s, there was a time when you passed another black person, we waved and talked to each other.
Wait.
Somewhere by 81 and 82, we started looking at each other as if we don't even know each other from Adam, and it went downhill from there.
Wait. Hold on. Did you not hear me say that exact thing in this show, or did you miss some of those parts?
Oh, I missed some of that. I'm sorry.
That was verbatim. Like, people in the chat can tell you, like, and I'll leave part of this up, so it'll be up for some hours, and they can go back and rewatch it and see what the chat said. Chat, I want you guys to tell me, is that not exactly what I said? Because I actually grew up when the gangs started. I'm not going to say whether I participated or not. I'm not going to say that, just be putting all the business out there.
By the time you came up, you had to. Let's say if you in 1983, so let's say by the time you were 9 or 10, which was like 1993, oh yeah, you had to. It's not that you had to, but you pretty much had to, right? Because you were going to get jumped from one place or the other, right?
That's exactly
by
what I'm
93?
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It wasn't a choice. I
had a choice, because see, when I was a kid in 71 and 72, when it was really starting to kick off, I still had a choice. And matter of fact, I still had a choice all the way up to 77, 78. Mm-hmm. It wasn't around then until it got, matter of fact, it wasn't until 81, 82, where it really got deep into where if you were someplace, you pretty much had to choose. You had to choose.
That's
in the
exactly,
70s, you didn't have to. It was just starting really in the 70s.
That's exactly my point, because what my next question was going to be is, and based on what you understand, around what year did gangs actually start and really, really just light the world on fire in the United States?
Okay.
Because I'm saying late 70s, very late 70s.
Here's now, and as you guys say, Google, newspapers, all that stuff.
Because I've lived,
it's all out there.
Because I've lived through it, so I'm speaking 60s, on what I know.
People say that there were gangs in the late 60s in L.A. Where I was in L.A. at the time in the late 60s, it wasn't. It wasn't until 1971 that it started really springing up everywhere. And by 1972, everybody knew about gangs because of a young man who got killed behind his leather coat. See, and I was there then, and I remember, now just like, people talk about being black, and your parents talk to you about how to act around the police. After 1972, my parents talked to me about, if you have your clothes, give them up. Don't fight for your clothes or whatever. And so it was really starting around 72, 73. But it didn't really, what you say, get turned up until the late 70s, early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And around then in the early 70s, like 72 and 73, there were some things that happened, but yet and still, they didn't force you. You know what I'm saying? Did have to do fighting, though. There was a lot of fighting. And that's the one thing that's been wrong with us. For 50 years, we've been fighting each other.
And by the way, that gentleman's name that you just spoke on, his name was Robert Brooks out of L.A.
Yes.
And that was 1972. So you're talking about relatively a very small span between when it really, really kind of started, so to say. But I'm talking about more or less when it was prevalent. And which is around, like I said, the time when I was born. So I pretty much was born around.
81, 82 is when it really turned up.
Right.
Yeah, 81, 82 is when it really started to become to where if you're in certain areas, you pretty much have to join this gang. Or, 81, 82.
Because a lot of people might not understand the history, but one thing that I do is that I've actually taken the time to know the history and know the things that I was around, or maybe I was associated, maybe I wasn't associated. I'm not going to say live, and I'll continue to keep saying that because that's not who I am anymore, okay? But I will say this. Where gangs came from was they came after the Black Panthers. What the Black Panthers were there to do, the Black Panthers were there to police their own neighborhoods and to protect their own people from the police brutality that was going on because of the quote unquote white supremacy that was going on around them. So what happened was when pro coin, God damn it, what is that word? The coin intel. I can't remember what it was. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna get it.
I'm feeling you though. I'm feeling you.
Hold on. Let me see. Pro coin. Let me see if I can figure out what the hell it was called. COINTEL Pro. Excuse me. When COINTEL Pro started, what they did was they started inserting people undercover inside of these organizations like the Black Panthers, inside of the civil rights movement. And what they started doing was they started giving information, figuring out how they operated, figuring out what they were doing, figuring out what their plans were, and they started bringing them down from the inside out, and they started taking down the leaders, because once you cut the head off of the snake, then the rest of the body will die, which is exactly what the Black Panthers did. They essentially died out. So what happened thereafter was everybody was kind of just like for themselves after that. But they realized how important it was to have organization, even at that time, even though their organization was broken. What they did was they took the organization and started branching it off into pieces. So what happened was there were these individual groups of people that started coming together. And the first group of people that came together were essentially what we know now as Crips. And they didn't start out as what we know as gangs. Let me see if I can pull up exactly what that, because
now see there again, it depends on where you were, sir. Now, okay, here's my knowledge and introduction of Bloods and Crips. All right, back in late 1971, I lived in a certain part of Los Angeles. I don't want to take up too much of your time because, see, now this is the thing about being an old man and start talking about certain things. A story will go on for an hour. But true enough, just to make a long story short, I lost a brother. My brother died 3 months ago. He made it to almost 61. Anyway, when he was a kid, he was Ace Deuce Brim.
Yes, I'm familiar.
And some of his friends was Ace Deuces and Ace Trey Brims. Later, those Ace Deuces and Ace Trey Brims became baby Brims. They became baby Crips or Crips. And now that's how that part of that group became Crips. Other parts of the town, let's say for whatever reason, became Crips or Bloods for whatever reason. Now, where I was, there was a family called the Christians, and it's funny, that was their last name, Christians. It was a lot of them, like 13 or so of them, boys, plus with cousins. It'd be like 20, 30 people out there. Anyway, they became Pyru and later became Bloods. And that's my knowledge from 71 and 72 of the section I was in. And the reason there again that started now with people, when I say we were fighting each other, before King was assassinated, here's the one thing we've been doing as a race of people, which was sad. my big brother would have me fight the other little boy, and you know what I'm saying? They sit and watch us. We fight each other like what go boxer or whatever, you know. And to be truthful, that has never stopped. I see it today when I look on the YouTube and I see how these people put their kids together to fight each other, and I'm like, guys, after 60 fucking years, this is what we're still doing? We have the knowledge in our hand to build a damn spaceship, and we're fighting each other. Anyway, anyway. So what I won't go on and on.
Well, let me say this real quick because I had a point about what I was saying. Originally, I was saying was for the Crips. What it was it's not just like they just showed up, they were wearing blue, they was gangbanging and throwing up sets and shooting at people. That's not the way it went. What they originally started for was because they came from what they understood that the Black Panthers represented. And what they were still trying to do was they were still trying to do that and protect their hoods and show a show of strength for their own neighborhoods and their own people, and they were looking out for their own. So originally what the term Crip meant was community, restoration, and progress. That's actually what it originally stood for. So Crip was an acronym. So what happens is now that thing is broken and these people think that their way is the right way after they just watched the Black Panthers go down under a way that actually was very effective, but they got broken down, is you're obviously going to have opposition. So what that opposition ended up having was once it got to a point to where the Crips was like, you know what, it's our way or the highway. And people said, you know what, we'll take the highway, we'll create our own thing. And that's where the Bloods spawned, because they wanted something opposite of what the Crips believed in. Because they were too big, they were too powerful, it was too many of them. So it took a group of people that were downtrodden underneath them, because the Crips had their foot on everybody's neck and they stood up against them, hence, which is why they ended up going against the Bloods and Crips, which is why this whole terrible mentality has been going on ever since then when it comes to gangs, based on the Black community.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. But that was basically what I was basically saying, and so when I speak about things, I'm actually not only speaking from a perspective that I've learned about and from videos and from documentaries and hearing it from the people's mouths that actually started this stuff. You know, I'm trying not to cuss or whatever. I'm doing real good.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you.
I've heard it from the horse's mouth, from the people that actually did it, that actually started this stuff. Listen to Tookie Williams. Listen to the Blood OGs. And listen to all these people that were actually in the trenches and started this stuff. So when you hear them tell these stories and you hear other people tell stories, and then you can put all of these things together and then they start to kind of make sense. But that's kind of the overall synopsis. You know, the little details here and there don't really matter so much. But my whole point is just the fact that, you know, where we need to be based on where we were. And where we need to be is we need to be back with families. When we understood that men had a value in the home, and the reason why I would say something, you know, as it might seem outlandish, why I say that it started from welfare and us choosing to not value the fathers, because women actually were not allowed to take advantage of benefits from the Title IV-D program. They weren't allowed to take advantage.
Now, that part of it is true. That part of it is true. But now, here's what happened. Motherfucker, don't excuse my language. I'm sorry. People lost their game. Some lost their game. A lot of them lost their game. There were some women who realized, okay, the man, the father of the child can't be in the house, but a man can. And so there were those who used the system. You understand what I'm saying?
There you go.
This guy wasn't the father. So others... Other women went on, I don't need a man, I got this, I got that. And yeah, that really did.
But wait,
that was a big domino, one of the big effects that started that domino effect in which where we are today.
There you go. Thank you. You pretty much brought it home. Thank you. Because that was exactly what I was going to say, is that's how it started. Because this wasn't just something that happened within like a couple of years and then here we are today and we can just jump right back out of it. You're talking about it's a mentality that has been bred, from generation to generation to generation. We're almost 4 generations into the next generation of people that are being brought into this level of thinking that men have no value. And I've already explained why men don't have value based in women's eyes, and it's because women are actually benefiting from this. and that's the portion that I'm talking about.
Now here's where I push back though on some of that for today.
Because everything. Hold on. Everything starts with choice, and everything starts with consent. Yeah. Most people don't understand what the government. The government can't do anything without your consent. They can't force you to follow any laws. They can't force you to do anything unless you consent to abide by those laws. Case in point, when you sign up for a social security number, when you sign up for a birth certificate, when you sign up for a driver's license, when you sign up for a job, there's a reason why there's all that paperwork involved in there, because you're actually agreeing to abide by these laws and these rules. And until you agree to abide by those laws and rules, then those two things cannot interact with each other in the United States of America.
Okay. Are you there?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Well, sir, I hear you, and I hear everybody on all the points in which they have, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not taking away from anything you said, because, sir, I am with you 100%. But now, here's a question I have to ask you. What does that have to do with our people in church? Now, you hear me? Mm-hmm. In church, fighting amongst each other.
I have a perfect answer for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna see what you're gonna do with this. You ready for it? Here we go.
Okay. I'm leaning on the wall right now. Okay.
Now, keep in mind, this is somebody that was raised in a Southern church. Since the moment I was born in the church. So was my father. So was his mother. So was her mother. So. Matter of fact, my daddy just had to put his mom in the ground. So shout out to my grandmother. My family was church. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys knew this about me or not. I might have mentioned it before, but I actually used to be a Christian youth counselor. So I taught the word.
Well, sir, I just want to ask you one question, and then we'll go on from there. Mm-hmm. Have you ever sat in church on Sunday for 4 hours?
Maybe longer.
Remember we talking about. You can talk to me, because if you ain't sitting in church no 4 or 5 hours.
Remember, we talking about Southern Black Church now.
See, now I want to talk to you real fast about the 60s and 70s. Yeah. Man, when I was a kid and you went to church, you couldn't play in church.
Oh no. Mm-mm.
And you grew up with a little bit of that, right?
Man, hey, look, I'm going to tell you something. I grew up around the era where if you did anything wrong in church, everybody had the right to whoop your ass, including the pastor himself. Okay. Yes, I've had it happen. When they take you back there in the back, and the parents take you back there, the pastor take you back there, and they tell you to drop your drawers, and they pull out that big leather belt. What?
Okay. So anyway, okay, back to how is it in 2018 we can't love one another in church? We're not even going to talk about Crips, Bloods, gangs, Republican, Democrat, whatever. Mm-hmm. We're just going to talk about inside the church. We don't even love each other in the church.
I agree.
Now, if we don't love each other in the church, how in the hell we got a chance outside the church?
Well,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I mean, we're not trying to be too PC here. We just want to be mindful of some of the things that we say. I know that we can cuss. I've watched YouTube videos, and all they do is cuss, and they're not getting flagged. So I don't know. But
well, no. The thing is that we do want to be above the fray. I mean, I at least I do. I want to. Yeah. There again. I made mistakes in my life. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm an angel, because I'm not. What's today? Today's the 5th.
Yes, sir.
3 days ago, which was September 2nd.
Yes.
I celebrated 30 years away from crack cocaine.
Oh,
and
wow.
I thank God for that. Only Jesus Christ did that. Because, man, anyway. Oh, folks, like I said, we got stories. But what I wanted to say is this. So now, if we are a group of people who, if we go on Sunday or whenever, we sit and we say we love the Lord, we this or that, but we don't love each other inside the place, how do we have a chance outside of it?
I think
you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the church is the be-all of all. I mean, well, it is. For those who believe in Christ, we know that the Son of God is all. But I didn't come to preach. Anyway, I just want to say, until we come together on what we know is right, sir, if I gave you reparations and me reparations and everybody got reparations, but we still have this mind of I got mine and I'm pretty and I'm this and I'm that and let's take a selfie, we just be a bunch of people with reparations still killing each other.
I agree. Man, can you say that again? I don't know if your telephone line was working right or not. Can you say that one part again for me, please?
Just, until we get our mind right, man, they can give us our own planet, our own Wakanda. Mm-hmm. And we'll just be in Wakanda acting a damn fool.
Man, you are so right.
I'm sorry. I don't do. Sir, I'm going to get off the phone so other people can talk to you because, like I say, old people will go on and on and on. But the one thing I did want to get back to what the Reverend said, mm-hmm. The way we are killing each other now and treating each other now, to an old person like me, it just, I don't even know how to describe it at times. I really don't.
Let me give you the smallest, easiest answer. I mean, and people have to dig beneath the surface to understand where this answer comes from, but I'll say this and let me see if you grasp this. The reason why, if we can't get along in the church and why that ends up replicating itself out in society is because of the fact that we oh, damn it, I just lost it. Hold on. Oh, I know. Because we don't have any accountability in the church.
The women don't. And it's not saying the men do. Well, no, you're right. None of us have accountability. It did start with the women, but today now, none of us do, because there have been churches I went to and seen guys act a certain way. I wouldn't talk on it or, whatever. But I don't know. If it's not of God, we know it. Just put it that way. We know what the words say, and my sheep know my voice, and another one they will not follow. And so that is a big problem. We have a lot of, he said, beware of a little leaven and spoil the whole lump. And there's a whole lot of leaven in these places today. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, the accountability thing too,
I think the biggest thing that shocked most of those people and why it took them 2 days to come out and say how offended they were was because they were in shock that he said it. That's literally it.
I'm sorry, when I seen it for the first time, I was shocked. I'm like, I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. So think about this. Whenever you hit somebody with truth like that, the first reaction is shock.
Yeah.
Especially when you have never ever your entire life been held accountable for anything, and all of a sudden somebody smack you in the face. Why do you think that my brother Tommy Sotomayor, shout out to Tommy by the way, why do you think that he's made the impact the way that he did when he first started speaking out years ago? And the reason for that was because nobody's ever heard somebody hold somebody that level of accountable.
The thing with Tommy Sotomayor and other people like him, he came out at the right time.
Yes, I agree.
It's like the song Billie Jean. When it came out at the right time. It just, you know what I'm saying? From that moment on, we will always know it. I seen the day where they played 1 second of it, and a person who wasn't even born or whatever knew it. You know what I'm saying? So those things. And so like with Tommy Sotomayor, when he came out, see what a lot of people forget now, when was his 2012? Is that about right?
Yeah. Roughly, yes.
Okay. So 2002, 1990. When did the first Jerry Springer show start? Somewhere around 95, 94?
Yeah, somewhere around there. You digging in my memory banks. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now imagine but the country was entertaining with Jerry Springer from 94 to 2012. Mm-hmm. And that didn't do nothing but get worse and worse and worse as it went down the line, to where Jerry Springer to me became like LA when I was a kid. Hey, let's put these two people together and watch them fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And see, there again, we're going into the new millennium. Instead of elevating our thinking, we're going back. Do you know back in the Roman days, they were more civilized because they fed the Christians to the lions. They didn't eat each other up. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I'm just saying all of that. So Tommy come out in 2012. Well, by then, when he come out, oh man, these kids had been doing so much on the. Do you know I didn't see my first sexting video on the phone until 2009? And by then, these kids had been doing it. I didn't even know what I was looking at. A young man had showed me what he had on his phone. I was like, what the hell is that? Mm. Anyway, so that's then, this is now. So when he came out, he came out right on time. And by 2012, our women are doing exactly what they're doing. It's just like what he showed the other day. I understand a lady's young and she wants to enjoy herself. Mm-hmm. But you're sitting in front of the thing just looking and hoping somebody talk to you, and you got 3 kids need attending to. Yeah. Now, if I talk to you, why am I going to talk to you? I'm just saying, as a man, I'm going to talk to you because I want to have sex with you if you're attractive to me. Mm-hmm. Which is going to give you another kid, which... You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Well, you already know. But see what I'm saying? These young people, though. Oh, God, sir, I could go on and on and on. Number one, we got to get the damn telephone out of the women's hands. Once they put that cell phone in a woman's hand back in 1995 and 96, somewhere around there, that's when the telephones actually took off. Once a young teenage woman or woman got that phone and started, it was over with. The cell phone company would never go broke again. Hello.
Yep, I'm listening to you. I'm just.
Yeah. So anyway, but back to the Reverend.
Because I'm sending somebody the number. I'm having them to call in. So Tracy, I'm about to go ahead and time you out based on what you said. So if you want to, call into the show, then I'm going to send you my email, and you can call in and explain exactly what you mean. And because I'd love to hear what you have to say, I'll give you an opportunity to speak. But what you aren't going to do is you aren't going to be disparaging in my chat when you're talking about something that none of us are actually talking about. That's my rule. If you want to get unblocked, then you have to email me. If you want to speak your mind about what your particular topic is, then you have to call into my show, because you're talking about something that ain't got jack shit to do with what my topic is. Okay. But anyway, I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead, and because I got at least 2 more calls.
Yeah. Last but not least, I know it's frustrating, and I just hope that those who hear what the Reverend said, he said it at the wrong time or whatever, but I hope everybody, those who hearing, somehow we work on getting rid of the hate amongst us, because it's sad when you can't even go to church anymore. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say, sir. It was nice talking with you. I appreciate it. I didn't mean to talk this long, and hopefully I get a chance to talk with you again.
All right, brother. It was an honor. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Okay. All right. Again, to Tracy, you don't need to say anything else in the chat. Just either send me an inbox, and I'll send you the number straight up and down. So nothing else needs to be said. Let's go ahead and bring in my second caller. Let me see. Did Brielle inbox me yet? Brielle, if you're still there, let me know, because I know you want to speak, but we're going to have to keep the conversations kind of short, because I still have. This is going to end up being the second part of the show, but we still have at least 2 more full shows I got to try to do, because they are very, very, very important. So Brielle, if you're there, I'll be willing to hear you out. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and call in my next person. See if we can get her on. Okay, hello? Let's see how we're doing. Hello? Yeah, Brielle, I think it's, if you don't have it, then yeah, I think the number's still the same. Somebody picked up. I don't know what's going on. Hello? I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here. Guys, I'm gonna make a little bit more time here, so here we go. All right, your mic is open. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm great. What name do you want to go by?
The real Karen.
The real Karen is on the line with us. What is going on?
What is going on with you, sir?
Oh,
I've been in the hospital, and I just got out today. Was really sick for a while, so haven't been able to really follow up with your show, but I saw you were doing a live show tonight, so I wanted to talk to you.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, and like I say, what I wanted to do here with this, because I had somebody ask for, well, actually, I think it was actually you, matter of fact, that said that you wanted to speak, and I thought the easiest way to do that would be for me to open up a phone line and do it that way. Because the panels, I'm sorry, they're too complicated. They're very, very complicated. But
I got you.
with regard, did you want to speak on the topic, which was Aretha Franklin's family slams Pastor Jasper for offensive eulogy? Did you want to speak on that or anything that I've spoken on so far?
I do not think that the eulogy was offensive whatsoever.
Why do you think that? Tell me your thoughts.
My thoughts are that, from every funeral that I've been to, that pastor has only one shot.
I agree.
They only have one shot at the congregation.
I agree.
And those people are there. They're a captive audience. And he has to preach a gospel message. And he has to say what's wrong with the society at large, what's wrong with the community. It might not necessarily be the people that he's necessarily speaking to, but it could be only one person in that congregation that he's trying to speak to, and he has to do it because that's their job. Mm-hmm. He's an evangelist.
Yep. So you get So you get where I was coming from, because I was just like, the only time, because for people that are religious, we understand that tomorrow is not promised. Is that not what they preach in the word?
Exactly. And you're looking at a homegoing, you're looking at a lady that, I'm hoping went to the right place, and I'm assuming she did. But, a lot of those people are there because they believe that. And they want answers. Because whenever someone dies, people really don't understand. They don't understand from a lot of viewpoints. But it's that pastor's job to speak to that community, whatever community that is. And he might be only, like I said, speaking to only one person. But if it's only one person that he reaches, isn't that what the Lord wants from him? And to me, no, there was nothing wrong with what he said. As a matter of fact, I applaud him for what he said.
Agreed.
I don't think there was anything outrageous or outlandish or whatever. People may have not have wanted to hear it, but it's what it needed to be said.
I 100% agree with that. And the thing is when they say offensive, what they're trying to say is the only thing that was offensive. This is the cold part, which they didn't actually specify. That's why I would like it if people were specific instead of so goddamn vague, because it bothers the heck out of me. Okay? So I will tell you exactly what they meant. What they didn't like was the fact that he said that women cannot raise men, which they cannot. And I've already given I've already given examples of why they can't. And not only that, we've got about 100,000 black youth dead at the hands of other black youth as an example. But do we need to continue to give those examples? Well, guess what? We can, because I got more stories to do.
Oh, you know what? If he really wanted to raise some hackles in there, he could have quoted from the word, and he could have said, women should really be seen and not heard. They should be kept covering. They should not be the lead pastors the way you see in, Bishop Jakes' church and other people like that are just trying to be like the world. I mean, to me as a believer, I just, maybe I'm just too much for this audience, but to me as a believer, I don't believe in all that. And if he really wanted to go somewhere, he could have.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the God makes the man for the woman as his helpmeet, and they are supposed to raise the children. God makes the man as a certain way. He makes the woman as a certain way. And they cannot raise those children separate and apart from one another. If they have to, yes. If something happens to that one person, then God gives that other person the ability to do it. But that is not the norm. And that's what this guy was trying to say.
Exactly. So imagine this. Let's just throw this on as an example. Based on what he said, women cannot raise men. Men are the builders. Men are the protectors. So if they are complaining that that is a problem, then look at it like this. Do we want to make women the builders and really push women into the forefront and say, okay, well, you guys are the head of the household. You guys be the builders. You guys be the protectors. And you guys go out and go do all of the things that men would normally do. So when we try to talk about erasing these gender roles, it's a dumbass argument. Excuse me. It turns out to be a dumb-ass argument because of the thing. Do you want women going out and fighting your wars? No men involved. Do you want women going out and building your highways? No men involved. Do you want women building your skyscrapers? No men involved. Do you want women, running these corporations and running these businesses and protecting our nation and all of this stuff with no men involved? Because guess what? It actually does work the other way around if there were no women involved. Right or wrong?
Well, we have seen what a freaking mess women have made of it already. And I'm saying that as a woman. I want to be protected. I want to be in the secondary role. I don't know why women don't want it. I want doors open for me.
Let me ask you a question.
I want privileges assessed to me.
Let me ask you. Let me cut you off real quick because my brain don't work good because I don't remember things when they come up in my head. I have a question for you. If somebody were to come in and you were in your house, you were asleep, and somebody kicking your door, and you hear somebody rummaging through your house, you call 911. They send over 2 female police officers. Are you okay with this?
No.
Why?
Because they're not as strong and they are not as quick on their feet. They don't have the same reflexes. They do not have the same ability to assess a situation logically. And I'm just saying that as a woman. I want a man showing up at my door. And I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, I don't know
the other way around.
I don't know that the last time a riot broke out or a fight in a club broke out or anything like that broke out and you sent a squad of women over to defuse it. I don't ever remember seeing that happen ever.
Never. As a matter of fact, they kind of egg it on, really. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they're the cause of it. There's some guy fighting over a girl. And maybe I'm just old-fashioned, Dave. I just don't. I'm sorry. That's just me. I don't like women pastors. I quit going to my church because they had a series of women pastors. I used to teach Bible study. I taught it for 10 years. But I taught an adult Bible study at night, and I was not a pastor. Mm-hmm. I think that's totally fine. But I was never going to be the lead pastor in anybody's congregation. Women are not equipped. They don't have the decision-making capability. And that is not to say that women are not smart, that they don't have intuition. and that they don't have something going for them upstairs. It only says, hold on 1 second, please.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Brielle, give me just a moment, bro, because you'll be next to be brought in. I don't think we have anybody else to email me. So far, we've got 2 great calls. So, Brielle, you better make sure and bring your A game. I want you to step in, and when you come in, I want you to make a point. I want you to hit it so we can get this thing done, because I got a couple more stories we got to do. So, shout out to my brother Brielle that's in the chat, and I'm going to bring him on here in just a little bit. But, yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut this out and make this a part 2 to this show as its own. It's going to be just a standalone call-in show, which I think is pretty cool. I don't remember us actually. I don't remember the last time we did that. It's been a while. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Because it was definitely something I wanted to say to her a minute ago. I damn near almost forgot it now. So I will give her a moment for her to come back. For anybody else, I know we got a couple of moderators in the chat. If anybody wants to contribute to the show, if I could get one of my moderators to post the PayPal link out there and the Patreon link, that would be awesome. If you guys that are watching right now, we still got about 159 people watching, which is pretty dope. If you guys want to contribute to the show, all it takes is a minimum to start. Just start with 4 quarters and go anything above that if you like, and just contribute to the show. I'll shout you guys out for anything that you send into the show as a support for the show, which is pretty cool. So I'm hoping she will come back here in a little bit. Hello? I think she's still on the line. Almost, but yeah, she's still on the line. So again, shout out to Jimmy D. Shout out to Zachariah. I think this was oh yeah. Shout out to my guy Cliff. To I think she hung up. So shout out to Andrew. Shout out to my guy Nick. Nick, thank you very much. Shout out to K-Man. Also shout out to my guy Carlos, Neil, Yvonne Y, and Rosa in the chat. So thank you guys very much. Also shout out a couple nights ago to Monica. If she's in the chat, shout out to her. Thank you very much. Well, I guess we'll just end that part there. So the call hung up. Let's see. I'm going to let in my next caller. All right, here we go. Brielle, if you are ready, we're ready to call you and bring you in. Hello? Brielle, can you hear me? If you can hear me, I can't hear you. I'm going to hang up, and then I want you to call me. So I'm going to hang up. I want you to call me. So, Brielle, if you can hear me, call the phone, and then I should be able to hear you after that. Okay, hello?
Hey, did you hear me the first time?
No, I didn't. That's why that's why I hung up, and I was just like, just call me back, because it does that sometime.
Yeah, I was trying to call you at the same time, and you rang through, so that's probably what happened, because they blocked my call out to accept your call in. Well, what's up, Subtle Nation? What's up, DJ Just Jay?
What's going on?
What I wanted to say was, the pastor had the right message and the wrong message. And what I mean by that is he had the right message, but at the wrong time.
Why is that? Wait. Let's keep it simple. Tell me about why is it the wrong time? Your opinion.
Because it was Aretha Franklin's funeral. you know, at my funeral, I want you to speak about my life and how my life was, not how the community that I was raised up in was messed up. You know, the eulogy is usually praising somebody that is praising somebody, but usually a person that had just transitioned. Um, so that's why I would say that it was the wrong time, but it was the right time also because this was nationwide, and that pastor utilized the opportunity to speak to the nation to give out a real message. Sort of like when Kanye West went on that rant on TMZ to try to tell people like slavery was a choice, and like it went over some people's heads. It was the right message, kind of at the wrong time, and people didn't get it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of the talking points that he made was talking points that Tommy Sotomayor already made. I just think that when Tommy speak about it, and by him being one of the first people to speak about it, that it was like a shock to everybody, like, wow, this man is speaking this way. But now there's more people coming out with the same message, and they just use them media platforms kind of at the wrong time and the right time to get this message out. I can understand why Aretha Franklin's family would have been mad, and then it ain't no telling what type of backlash the family got for the pastor saying that, and you know who been in the family here for them to come out upset. But it's back to the same thing. It was the right time and the wrong time, the right message and the wrong message.
I'm just the person that believes in certain things. Let's point this out. First of all, do you know the definition of eulogy?
Not off the top of my head, but
let me give you the
definition. Use it in a sentence.
let me give you the definition of that, and let me explain what happened. The definition of eulogy is a commendatory oration, just meaning speaking highly of someone, or written. Oration basically means like spoken as opposed to written, when you're just kind of going from your when you're just speaking as opposed to something you've written down. So a commendatory oration or writing, especially in honor of one deceased. Or definition number 2, high praise. So as long as he gives a commendatory oration or writing, especially in honor of a deceased one, in this case Aretha Franklin, and give her high praise, is he prevented from being able to say anything else that he wants to thereafter? Now, let me point this out to you. Most of the time, in most funerals, because I have been to more than my share of them, a lot of us have, I don't know how many have, but I've been to my share of funerals. And one thing that I can say is that the pastor will normally speak on that person's life, and then that pastor will normally speak on life in general. Am I right or am I wrong? Is that a fact, or is that not correct?
That's a fact. That also, when they speak on life in general, they usually try to get especially at the young folks' funerals, people that died at the age of 35 to murder, they try to get them out the streets and come join the church too.
Wait. Stop. Perfect. This is why I love you, Brielle, my brother. Let me explain exactly what you just said. Let me throw back what you said right back at you. And then I want you to tell me if what he said was the appropriate time or inappropriate time. Now, what you said was they normally will speak highly about what they can about a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once they do that, that part is over. Then from that point, a lot of times what pastors will do is they will take, especially like you just eloquently put, if there was a tragedy that happened, like let's just say somebody got shot down over some gang stuff, gang, you know what I'm saying? All this bullcrap they're doing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do the fingers like this, gang. I don't know how they do that bullshit, right? But here we go.
I don't know how they do it either.
Here we go. So let's just say that Lil JoJo or somebody, whoever, anybody, was shot down in the midst of some gang stuff, okay? Mm-hmm. And let's just say that the pastor is speaking on this person's life. Would that pastor not have the right to see where that person might have misstepped or done something wrong or said something wrong that caused them to lose their life, and say to everybody else in the audience, this is what we need to do as a people to stop things like this from happening? So my question to you is what makes Aretha Franklin's life any different that he used her life and her missteps based on the fact that he's known her almost her entire life, meaning he probably knows her very well, and he's also very well educated, considering the fact that he went to a historically black college, graduated with a sociology degree. He is a pastor, speaks on the community, probably has seen this thing happen 1,000 times over. Who better qualified to speak on that? And not only that, why would he not be able to use her mistakes, considering the fact that she's human and everybody says, what is the consensus that everybody says? Ain't nobody perfect. So that means that Aretha Franklin probably did some things that were imperfect. Why would he not be able to use that platform at that time and say, this is what we all need to do to get better as a people based on the things that we see as a mistake, which she also participated in? Your mic.
Well, death is a tragedy. That's number one. Whether you die of natural causes or you get killed in the streets. The thing with people getting killed in the streets is like that could be prevented by the community if people would just wake up. Her dying of old age or natural causes or cancer or whatever is a different story. So usually when it comes to one of the young brothers getting knocked off in the streets, you know, he trying to use that tragedy of them getting knocked off in the streets to try to get the community to do right.
Okay, so
but
wait, hold on. So what was the mistake in her life that he was speaking on? What mistakes did she make that he spoke on? Because I saw it.
Well, from what I just learned in the last couple of days, that she had a few children out of wedlock.
4.
She had 4 out of wedlock?
And 1 at age 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about her having a kid at age 12, too. Did her children grow up successful, or did they become gang members and ran the streets, too? Like, you got to look at the outcome of her life, too.
Right. But he used her life as an example to say that, let me see, that somebody said Aretha had 2 kids by age 14.
Yeah, from what I don't know if it's true or not. They said it was her father kids or somebody.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let's just use that part as an example. What can a 12-year-old, let alone a 14-year-old, what can a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old give a child?
Nothing, for real. They learning just like the child would be learning. They don't wind up learning from each other.
They can't give them anything financially. They can't give them anything spiritually. They can't give them anything educationally. They can't give them anything when it comes to a roof over their head, clothes on their back. They can't give them anything. They're still expecting to get everything provided to them. That's already strike number 1 and 2 right out the gate. So the odds would be stacked up.
Back in them days, things are different.
Wait, hold on. I get that part. I get where you're coming from, but my whole thing is that always, if nothing else, because I don't know those kids' personal life, but what I can say is that us having children out of wedlock has been proven factually to be a bad thing. Am I right or am I wrong?
You correct about that. According to prison statistics and high school dropout statistics, you are absolutely right about that.
So let's just say that maybe he wasn't saying her kids turned out to be failures, but what he's saying was that here is somebody that I knew that had children outside of wedlock. You know what? That makes me think about other people in the world, maybe even in my congregation right now, that had children outside of wedlock. So let's sidebar talk about this bigger issue that's going on. So maybe he wasn't using her as a direct example, but using her to segue into a much larger problem. How about that?
I agree with you. Like I say, it was the right message and kind of the wrong message. I didn't see the whole thing because that funeral was longer than the black church on Sunday. I ain't never seen a funeral that long. But like I say, it was the right message, and I say it was the wrong message. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to say why now, and I change my point. It was the right message in my right mind, now that I think about it and speaking with you. In my nigga mind, it was the wrong message. Sort of like when Kanye West, back to Kanye West again, when he said slavery was a choice. In my nigga mind, I got, sorry for touching on your show. In my ninja mind, you know, I got upset when I first heard that slavery wasn't a choice, da-da-da-da-da. But then in my right mind, when you actually read about the 13th Amendment, say, involuntary servitude is legal. Voluntary servitude, I mean, it's illegal. Voluntary servitude is absolutely legal. You want to volunteer your servitude to me, you know? So, I guess to the sleeping mind, you would get upset at what he said, but to the conscious mind, it was the right place and the right time. He got a platform, he got a nationwide audience, not on cable TV, but on regular free TV, and he used the opportunity to reach millions and just millions of people. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with the Bible at all? Just a yes or no question.
I read the Bible. I'm familiar with a lot of holy books. I read all of them, the Bhagavad Gita and everything.
So here's my question to you. Is there not a passage that says tomorrow is not promised to you?
I haven't read that per se, but I know that everybody say that. If it is, I want to say it's either in Ecclesiastics or it's in Proverbs, one of them.
Let me do this. That actually will be a great tool for me to teach with. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can look at that real quick, Brio. Hold on just a second.
Don't be feeding off of me, Just Jay.
No. This is a point that I was going to bring up. Actually, I talked about this before I even picked up the first call, so this actually works out real good tomorrow. Let's see. Okay. I know there is a passage based on what I see so far, James chapter 4, verse 13 to 14. Let me see if I can find more than that. Yep. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Proverbs 27, chapter 27, verse 1. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how you read that. Don't boast about tomorrow. Don't boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring. Matthew 6:34 says, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. And they got, golly, boy, I can't keep going. Like
hey, I got one better for you. In the book of Ecclesiastes, and I just read this recently. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says it's time to play and it's a time to work. It's a time to laugh and it's a time to sorrow. But then it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, the time to sorrow is better than the time to laugh, because in the time of sorrow is where you learn.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the pastor used the time to sorrow as the time to learn. You know, when your heart ache or something bad happened, or let's say just for example, you get with that girl and all the red flags was up and you ain't take them, and now that your heart hurt, you learn like, dang, well, this was going wrong, that was going wrong. I should have paid attention to the red flags. Then you learn better.
Okay, here we go.
In the time of sorrow.
Here we go. Here's the New King James Version. Come now, who you say, today or tomorrow, which will go to such and such a city, spend a year there, buy and sell, and make a profit, whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. So if we think about this, what other time did he have besides the time that he had breath in his body right then and there? What other time would he have had? Can he count on tomorrow? Can he count on the fact that he was going to wake up tomorrow? No,
he can't count on that time.
And wait, hold on. Can he count on the fact that he would have had an audience that large that was being streamed live all over the world? Would he have had another audience like that ever again in his life?
No, he ain't no telling when the next time he had an audience like that in his life. So he took advantage of it to wake people up for the betterment, to raise fallen humanity.
There you go. Love it, love it, love it. Anything you want to say to close us out? Because I know I know Karen hit me back, and I think Jason wants to get on here and holler at me real quick.
The last thing I say is, you know, I grew up without a father. I had a good grandfather, and when I was younger, I was about maybe 30, I say I was about 14 or 15. I had a friend. He was part of the folks out here, and this is my dude. I looked up to him. You know, he a gangster disciple. When I asked him, I say, could I join? I said, I want to be a gangster. That's just what I told him. He said, man, you smart. He said, this ain't for you, and gave me all the reasons why it wasn't for me. And because he told me that in high school, we was walking up the hallway. I remember that. I never joined the gang. I never wanted to be a part of the gang after that. And that was just how much influence that this dude had on me. At the same time, he had the other follower people paying dues to him. He was going to get fresh with this with the money that they was paying, and you know. So I just wanted to thank PJ for influencing me not to join the gang, and that's about it, man. I'm about to go back in here with my daughter and my girlfriend, and just start back attending to my baby. But I'm gonna listen to the rest of the show while everybody else call. Peace, Soto Nation. Take care.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. The fathers are in the household, in this household. Peace.
Yep. Peace, peace, peace. All right. Let me see if I can get yes, Jason, go ahead and hit me, because I've already talked to Karen. So go ahead and hit me now. Let me see. I'll just type it. He did what? Yeah, so yeah, go ahead and hit me, Jason. I'm waiting on you. And I think it works better whenever you guys call in as opposed to me trying to call y'all. Sometimes it doesn't always want to pick up. So we'll make this the last call of the show right here. And I think this has been actually a pretty good show. I can't believe that we've maintained almost about 150, 160 people this entire time. I don't even know how long we've been live, but I know we've been live for a while. And I want to thank you guys for sticking with the show. We've had a maximum of like 252 people here, which is dope, man. And like I said, I mean, we are this was actually supposed to be like a really short show. So we're going to end up breaking this into two parts, and then I still got at least 2 or 3 more stories coming. So I'm actually glad that I ordered dinner and had it brought here, because I wasn't going to have a chance to eat at all. I sure wasn't going to have a chance to cook, because I wanted to make my spaghetti, because I was looking forward to eat some spaghetti, but I didn't have time trying to research these stories and figure out what my talking points were going to be. But this has been very productive so far. And my whole thing is, I just want people to understand, you know, where I'm coming from and why I said what I said. And I mainly try to base what I say based off of truth and logic, so that way I don't have to have my opinions broken up. But it should be very, very difficult to break up truth and logic. Okay, hello. Hey, if you can hear me, call back like well, okay. Let me see, call me. It should pop up on the screen. So yeah, Jason, I'm ready for you. Putting in that real work on real topics between real people who really care. J. Lou, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much for noticing. I'm definitely trying to make sure that that I do what I can. I'm trying my best. Like I say, you know, I've definitely got a lot going on. I'm trying to get my jobs rescheduled here, because I had to swap them out today, in order to get these shows done today. Jason, I'm seeing it leave you voicemails. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, let me refresh it. Let me see if maybe that might be the problem. There we go. All right, apparently I just had to refresh it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, brother.
All right, man. What is happening? What is happening?
Man, I can't call it. You know, I'm always watching.
Already.
Well, first off, on your subject, on your story, on the show here. Hello everyone out there in Soto Nation. Glad you guys were able to get on and enjoy the show. Yes, it was the right time. He said the right words, and he spreaded hopefully a message that can make a change in someone's life. And we hope it's about 100,000+ someone's lives that we can make a change in. So I hope that answers your question about the eulogy. He did, speak about her. He spoke highly about her, and then he put out his personal message, his own message that he wanted to put out.
Is that
There's
not
nothing
typically?
wrong with that.
Is that not typically what pastors will do?
Every pastor does that, in every funeral I've ever been to. I've been to a whole lot of them.
I have too, even recently. Everyone that I've ever been to, that's the exact format that they follow. They say something nice about the person. They look at maybe if they suffered a tragedy, they might speak briefly on the tragedy, and then they will use that to segue into a larger point about their message. Like every pastor does that.
Absolutely. And for someone to say that pastors don't do it, or it wasn't the proper time or the right thing to say, they are living in a fantasy world, and they need to come out of it, or they're just going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So stop living in that fantasy world. Stop speaking with a different mind and a different thought, because that different mind and that different thought you speak and you say that you jump into every now and then, you're actually always in it. You never left it.
Right. And that's my whole thing.
So that's foolishness.
My whole thing is that when I decided to go ahead and take a few calls from you guys, I was like, I don't ever mind being questioned on what I've said. But, the thing that I want people to understand is always the underlying point. Like, what is the point? What am I trying to get across? And if you have a disagreement with that, then fine, we could talk about it. And like I said, I even think that even with Brielle, I think that there were some points that initially I think he disagreed with some of my stances. But I tried my best to try to explain it in a way to say, number one, this is what her situation was. There are things that we know that are facts, okay? And we know that he knew her for a fact. We know that she had children outside of wedlock for a fact. She was a very young mother. That was a fact. And that he could use those same things that were facts and use those to teach and say, now let's segue into something different. Maybe he didn't directly say that her kids ended up with a bunch of issues and they ended up being gangbangers and killing each other and stuff like that. But we do know of hundreds of thousands of mothers that are in these situations that have kids outside of wedlock without fathers that are struggling for these boys to find value in their manhood. And that's kind of the main point that I want to stress and get across.
And I totally agree with you. Like I said, and I keep saying this over and over again. When I turned age 18, my mother told me, and I was raised in a single parent household, my daddy was a drunk. Even though I knew him and I saw him and he visited and this and that and that and this, my mother told me, I can't make you a man. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to go out there in the world and figure out how to be a man. This I cannot do. And my mother raised 5 boys and a daughter. And that's just how it works. No woman can raise a boy to be a man, and that's a fact.
Just because
they don't know.
Just because that sounds bad. Ahead. Just because that sounds bad. Why can't we say that? That's a fact.
Because they're living in that alternate fantasy world. That maybe I can do it. Maybe I can have a chance to prove somebody wrong. Instead of proving somebody wrong, you're as a black woman, you're failing. You cannot raise a man to be a boy because you're going to teach that boy emotions.
Right.
Men are not typically emotional people.
I talk about that.
We all know that.
Talk about it all
So
the time.
why do we keep trying to? So why does the black woman keep trying to change the narrative when it's not true and it can't be true? But they keep fighting against the system because they think they're a special group of people. Well, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You were put on this earth after man was, according to some people's Bibles. You were put on here to be a helpmeet. You were put on here to support a man. You were not put on here to go off on your own and do what you want to do. That's not the way the earth or humanity was designed in the Bible. It was not designed like that. That's why black women are failures. That's why they can't do it. Yeah, there are some that can. There are some that just are in the right place at the right time.
I agree.
My mother, she took us and she moved us away from our drunken father, and she surrounded us with a bunch of men that were in our lives that can guide us properly. She had us in the sports and had us in the boy things. We weren't sitting around cleaning the house and walking around in her high heels and wearing lipstick and tutus and trying to act like mommy. We weren't doing that. We were out on the football field getting banged up by other little boys and playing a sport.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were doing. That's what boys do. Yeah. Boys don't hang around their mothers all the time and want to be like their mothers. That's not natural. And for anybody to say that it is natural and that I can do it as a black woman, you're wrong. You can't. So stop trying. Because what you're doing is you're ruining the community. You're devastating the community. We are so far behind the power curve compared to other races. In my lifetime, I will not see it be caught up. I will die. I will be dust on somebody's lawn one day. Because I'm not going to see it. And I doubt if anybody listening to the sound of your voice in this show is going to see it either, because black women are destroying the community one day by day. They're destroying it. You can see it.
Yep, I want to say this because for people to watch this show and still listen to Tommy and listen to me and listen to all of us that speak on this very similar rhetoric, what we want people to understand is that we're not saying that there aren't people that have not made it successful. You will have your very, very, very minute, very small anomaly like your LeBron James that will make it. We're not saying it. Actually, we are saying it's impossible. Based on statistics, it's statistically impossible for women to raise successful boys. Statistically, it does not work. So we don't deny the anomaly. We acknowledge that there are the anomalies, but the anomalies only relying on that to prove that the way that we're doing things works proves that we are destined for failure, right or wrong.
You're absolutely right. And Jay, just to make a stronger point on that, let's look up the definition of anomaly.
I've already got it pulled up. You want to give it, or you want me to?
How about that? How about we talk about this word for just a slight moment?
Anomaly, something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. As an example, there is a number of anomalies in the present system. Synonym words are oddity, peculiarity. Oh my Jesus, I cannot say that word, Jason Gunn. Hold on.
It's okay, sir.
I can't pronounce this word. I'm not gonna even fake like I can.
Let's just skip over it and keep moving.
No. Hold on. Here we go. Watch this.
Peculiarity.
There you go.
Shout out to Google. Thank you, Google, so much.
Google is wonderful.
Abnormality, irregularity, inconsistency, incongruity, aberration, quirk, or rarity. As another example, the growth on the duck's bill is a harmless anomaly. So let me see. No, that's something different. That's astronomy. So sorry, I told you guys I'm not good with being able to pronounce words and reading and stuff like that. I've been working on that to try to get better. So every show I think I get just a little bit better at reading terms and being a little more fluid. So it's just about the repetition. So that's one thing that I'm very honest about is where I stand. And I know that I don't speak that well. So I try to continue to keep working on that because I know a lot of us sometimes just refuse to acknowledge that there's some things that we just cannot do. Uh-oh, did I just bring us back full circle, Jason Gunn? Did I just bring us back full circle?
Did,
let's bring us back to the point of the fact that mothers won't actually acknowledge the fact that they can't raise boys.
And this is just so true. And again, you only have there's only a very few women that have raised boys and they are successful today. It's you don't see it all the time. You know, every year during graduation, we see all these wonderful stories about people graduating and black boys and black girls graduating. But we never ever see a follow-up of what's happened in 5 years. We never see that follow-up. What happened to this young man that had straight A's and was a 4.0 student, this young black woman who was a straight A student, 4.0 average? What happened to these kids? Nobody ever talks about their success because a lot of them don't succeed out here in the real world. They don't. And it's a fact that they don't because you don't see run-up stories. You don't hear about that stuff. I haven't seen any follow-up stories about. I followed 3 young people last year. 3 young people last year. I Googled their names. I heard nothing about them. Actually, one of them was killed. Mm-hmm. And that's 1 out of 3. The other 2, I don't know what happened. They disappeared into the bliss. I don't know. But the point being is that you can't keep living this fantasy world and keep saying, I was thinking with this mind and I was thinking with that mind, because 2 people that called in said they was thinking with another type of a mind, and I don't get that. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that. I'm trying to figure out how can you switch back and forth. Normally that's called a mental disorder, isn't it? When you switch minds back and forth or change personalities based on the situation at hand, that's a mental issue.
Oh, okay. I'll agree with you. Based on what I understand, I will definitely agree with you on that.
So, I mean, and I brought up in the chat if you want to talk about the other topic right quick.
Yeah, we got a little bit more time because I was hoping to try to get that last show started here by 9. Because, like I said, I think we're going to probably... Okay,
no. Well, DJ, I'm done.
No.
We will discuss that at another time.
You're good. You're good. I've already got the stuff pulled up. Like, we're good on time. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. You said earlier that Section 8... you tell me if I heard it wrong. I was hearing that you were saying Section 8 did not allow the man in the house.
Basically, let's just say I normally do say that, but I think think to be more specific, it's the father. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's in the title. It's family. The title stipulates family.
Okay. Kind of tell me where you're coming from with it.
So my thing is this: it wasn't that the Title 8 put the man out of the house, whether he be married or not. It did not actually do that. What Title 8 did, it told the woman, I don't care what race it is, it told the woman that if the lower money that you bring in the house, the more benefits we'll give you. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, in my mind, in my thought, because I'm black, I saw the black woman getting rid of the black man and getting more money not having them there than having them there.
Right. So I've always said this. I've always said the woman chose to leave the man.
She chose to leave the man to get more benefits.
Correct.
Because if we read Title 8, and I'm not a very good reader either, because I can't read and listen to the show at the same time. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. I hurt in that area. But determine if you are eligible. The PHA will help determine if you are eligible for Section 8 assistance. This is based on both the family size and the total annual gross income. In general, the income may not exceed 50% of the area's median income. Section 8 is also limited to U.S. citizens and certain categories of non-citizens with eligible immigration status. So what that is saying, it's not saying that anybody has to leave the house. It's based on the gross income for that specific area in which you live.
Right. It's what's encouraged, but not actually said. Because we know that families usually consist of a mother and a father. That's the nucleus. That's the traditional. That's the traditional household. That's kind of the idea. It's just more or less just us being able to have discernment and understand what that actually means. Because we know that it wasn't a common thing for a normal household to have two mothers in the household or two fathers in the household. So more times than none, and the fact that it was considered abnormal to have a child outside of wedlock. That was something that was frowned upon. So we know what that's actually targeting. It's targeting the people that are probably in need of help, that have already a mother and a father in the household, and usually are going to base it on that income. And usually the man is usually the breadwinner. So if that man is the breadwinner, then that means as long as his money is included in that house, then they're not going to be able to reap the benefits, meaning he would have to leave.
Correct. And from what I see in the black race is that the black woman has chose to kick the man out to get more benefits from the system.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Now, it could happen in other races. I don't know about other races, and I don't particularly care about what other races are doing because I'm not another race. I'm black. I'm a black American, and I'm happy about being a black American. But
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, how many times have I told people that when they talk about, well, why don't you talk about what white people do and this and that? I'm just like, first of all, they're not asking me to talk about their community. Mexicans ain't asking me to talk about their community. And the only community I grew up in was the black community. So you talk about what you know. So if you know, if you know physics, then you talk about physics. If you know mathematics, then you talk about mathematics. You know what I'm saying? If you know sociology, then that's your specialty. You speak on your specialty. My specialty is being black. I talk about black.
Right. those topics and those things that you spoke about have nothing to do with race. They have to do with the knowledge in that particular field. And I get it. And I understand that. But I don't understand why people don't get that. When Tommy, the Soto Nation platform is based on black families and black action and black lives.
Mm-hmm. Damn it, I just lost Jason. Hold on. Let me call him back.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Go ahead. You said the black family.
No one else is talking about this anywhere you go on the internet. Nobody. Nobody is like Tommy. Nobody is like DJJustJay. There is nobody out there like that. So I don't know why people keep saying that. Nobody's out there. David Duke, he had a great interview with Tommy. I did not know about David Duke. I didn't understand why he was doing what he did, but he was supporting the white race. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. If a Latino, a Mexican, Puerto Rican, or whatever have you, whatever nationality or whatever they want to claim, if they want to boast or promote their particular people, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But you got the smallest group of people that when they hear other races talking about their race and what they want to get out of America or what they want to do in America, is always considered racist. That's foolishness.
That is true. Yep, that's a fact.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yep. And I don't
And
understand.
they keep falling into the same hole.
And I don't understand how, you know, we want everybody to be fair with us, but we won't be fair with anybody else. I don't really understand how that's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We are not shameful to beg. We are not shameful to have children out of wedlock. We are not shameful for living off of the system that has been put in place to keep us there. We're not ashamed of none of that. And when people start speaking about that or speaking against it, everybody that's doing it, that's participating in it, they want to catch feelings. And it doesn't make any sense.
Yep, I think.
And the only thing that
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. You got the floor, bro. My bad.
The only thing that I can say is that we're about to take the spoon out of their mouth and make them go fend on their own, and they're afraid.
Yep, fact.
Because you got to think about it, DJ. If the United States government turned around and started putting black people in camps around the United States, there's only less than 1% of us that will fight and say no. The rest will say okay and go into the corral with the rest of the cows.
Yep.
And that's a majority of the black race.
Would you not agree? And we'll wrap up with this because we really need to get up off of here. Would you agree with this with this last point? There is a lot of value in fear.
Absolutely.
And and the way I see it is our community as a whole with our sisters, shout out to the sisters, there is no fear. They have no fear of anything. They have no fear. Can you see that being true?
Absolutely. Very true statement.
So if you think
That
about
can't
the fact,
be disputed.
and so if you think about the fact that they have no fear at all, then you can see that is becoming a detriment to our community. I mean, that's just, that's a fact based on on the results that you're getting.
Well, the results are all over the internet, and people can Google them, but they choose not to because they're afraid to see what it's going to reveal, and it's sad. So you let them people be them people, and that's the majority of the black race, and that's why we've been stuck in this hole for the last 400 years. Well, I'm not going to say 400 years. For the last 50 to 60 years, we've been dug deeper into this hole that we don't want to move out of. People are being thrown ropes, and they're pushing the ropes aside to stay comfortable.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you taking my call, DJ, as well. And I'm glad we got that straightened and cleared out. So that was awesome, and I appreciate you taking my call and listening.
Shoot, yeah, anytime, man. We might, I might have to just make this a norm to where when I know I have time, just make it available to where if somebody wants to chime in, just open up the line that's available. So the number's always the same, but I won't put it out publicly because I want people that actually want to speak to be able to actually call in, and I don't want the number to just be just anywhere and everywhere. I mean, I'm sorry, but people are just so abusive with these methods that we have for being able to communicate with the world. So knowing that we get trolled, I have to be cautious, right?
Well, DJ, that comes back to respecting one another.
Yep, I agree. All right, man. Well, Brother Jason, I definitely appreciate you, man. We're gonna wrap up.
Thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Always an honor, brother.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Ciao.